Vice-Chancellor of the University, Professor Makanya, the President of Cape Verde, maybe let me say former President, President Pedro Pires, President Thabo Mbeki, the patron of the Thabo Mbeki Foundation. They are about to come in and will comment. Deputy Chairperson of Council, welcome. Mrs. Makanya, Professor Chabani Manganye, Deputy Chair of the Thabo Mbeki Foundation, President Pires, President Mbeki, Vice Chancellor Makanya,
fellow Africans, and the great leaders gathered here. Here then, the poet speaks to the people. Sons and daughters of Africa, chosen leaders of our beloved soil, hearken to our cries, our supplications, for verily we too dream of a place and a time when a deep healing peace will descend to muffle the raging, ravaging drums of war. One African to another African, of all Africans to all of humanity, lifting one another, lifting one another as they rise.
Today we continue with the celebration of Africa Day, marking the 50 years of the Organization of African Unity. President Thabo Mbeki, patron of the Thabo Mbeki Foundation, President Pedro Pires, our honored guest who will deliver our lecture today, Dr. Mukoni Matabane, Deputy Chair of the University of South Africa, Principal and Vice-Chancellor Professor Mandla Makanya and Mrs. Makanya, Indira Pires, the daughter of President Pires, you're welcome, sister. The Thabo Foundation trustees present here and management, Dr. Zacharias, head of the UNDP, members of the Diplomatic Corps, all present, head of Timali, our fraternal organization, UNISA management, students, South Africans, you are all welcome to this celebration. I would ask Professor Mandla Makanya to come and welcome us as our host in this university.
As we know, the Organization of African Unity was established on 25 May 1963 in Addis Ababa upon the signing of the OAU Charter by representatives of 32 governments. A further 21 states have joined gradually over the years, with South Africa becoming the 53rd member on 23 May 1994. The theme of this year's 50th anniversary celebrations is Pan-Africanism and African Renaissance. According to the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, the continent has made great strides in the last 50 years and needs now to look to the future. Reflecting on those who have contributed to this milestone, she said, quote, "As we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the OAU and AU, we are inspired by their example and pledge to work together in solidarity for an integrated, people-centered, and prosperous Africa at peace with itself," unquote. Closer to home, 2013 marks the University of South Africa's 140th birthday, and we have undertaken to spend the year paying tribute to the wonderful people, achievements, activities and initiatives at UNISA, and how these have contributed to our understanding and articulation of what it means to be an African in the 21st century. A thinker, a writer, an organizer, political leader, a campaigner, and above all, someone who is committed to the freedom and advancement of his people in South Africa, and in the African diaspora, and amongst all who are exploited and excluded by the global forces of power and money, unquote. Your Excellency, patron of the Thabo Mbeki African Leadership Institute, I now call upon you to come to the podium to welcome our guest lecturer this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Makanya. In the course of our discussion as a foundation to say who is going to be our lecturer today, indeed, in the end, we all agreed that we should ask President Pedro Pires to deliver the lecture this year. Because indeed, the occasion of this 50th anniversary of the OAU is indeed an opportunity to discuss Africa yesterday, Africa today, Africa tomorrow, to reflect on all of these challenges in order to say where do we go from here. The ending of the war in Angola, which resulted in the withdrawal of the South African Defense Force from there, which led to the independence of Namibia. You are therefore also dealing here with a statesman, Prime Minister and President of Cape Verde, who during the time that he was in government did many things, including achieving important socio-economic development in Cape Verde, including entrenching the process of democracy on this sister African country. President, thank you very much for coming. Welcome. What do I say, Tobo? Please, President, come and take over here. Thanks.
Afternoon. And I go to say some words in English, you know. I'm proud to be here with you. I'm happy to be here. 50 years ago, this date was a dream. A dream, and 50 years there is the reality. And the Africa is changed. The world is changed.
I thought that at this time, it would have been remiss of me to ignore the 50th anniversary celebrations of the Organization of African Unity. Therefore, I will start precisely there. Indeed, the African Union has just celebrated the 50th anniversary of the founding of the Organization of African Union. However, to be honest, I personally believe that despite their strong emotional and historical importance, these celebrations are also taking place in an environment plagued by concerns about the future. These concerns need to be analyzed, clarified, and overcome. I believe that Pan-Africanist thought and ideals are compelling elements of modern African history, of Africa and its diaspora. In their very essence, they inspired a desire for self-determination which perseveringly fought for the cultural rehabilitation and the restoration of the dignity of African slaves and their descendants in the Americas. Finally, by way of clarification, I would just like to mention that I have not presented you a thesis or a research study. I have simply presented some of my memories and experiences. Thank you.
For our students at the Thabo Mbeki African Leadership Institute, as well as our teachers in the institute, President Perez has given us a very comprehensive body of thought to ponder, to unpack, to problematize, to act upon.